The Garden of Freedom by yours truly, Nanika Edwards. The Garden of Freedom, how my island world came to be, make mass paradise. The Great Game Park, Part 2. Meet Adam. And the Lord commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 to 17. In his dawning days, the Most High gave his beloved son of the soil a personal tour of his imperial domain, proudly walking him through the breadth and length of its beauty, and happily answering Adam's endless question mark gushings, boy with toys curiosity. They started off from the center where the father affectionately pointed out a tree called the Tree of Life. Adam looked at it quizzically, but dared not quiz his father about its diminutive appearance, lest it be discredited from him as impertinence. From that point, they continued strolling in contented silence through the lush park of floral and fruity scents and that village ecosystem of creatures. The tranquil camaraderie of the two was punctuated by spurts of cheerful chatting and joking in easy joviality, and sometimes by solemn discourse. The generous king, who abounded in kindness, showed his heir apparent the sumptuous spread of fruits, vegetables, ground provision, and endless herbs and spices that were all his to explore and enjoy, as well as the garden bouquet of floral delights that were also his to be romanced and enraptured by. The most prime example of a solemn moment, though, would be on their return to the middle of the park, when God very gravely pointed out an eye catching tropical beauty called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which, oddly enough, was not far from the tree of life. And now, an aside. There's a brief description here that hints at the exact identity of this tree. You can get the book to satisfy your curiosity. The Lord of Hosts sternly warned Adam not to eat of it, explaining that if he did, he would die. Die? Asked Adam. What does die mean? His father simply said, to die is to no longer live. It is when green becomes brown. It means to wither. It means to return to the earth. It is when breath becomes death. By the way, God concluded, the word death is the noun or name version of the verb or to-do word die. That was all Adam needed to know. Indeed, the steely tenor of severity in God's voice was sufficient to satisfy him that that was a tree he would look mark as forbidden to eat. Secretly, the likkle youth man was wondering, how could something good also be bad? But he decided not to chance asking, as he somehow felt that that would have been asking for trouble. A proverbial saying surfaced in his soul from seeming nothingness. Trouble make monkey eat pepper. Now, here's the thing about the forbidden tree. It wasn't all good, but it wasn't all bad either. Another aside, the portions which follow in the ebook fully identify and also appraise and analyze this mystery tree. And the aside continues, in the writing that follows in this Adam segment, to my surprise, God answered a burning question that I had had for a long time. How does anyone become a narcissist? God's illustration of Adam's descent here was so graphically insightful that I myself was left wondering, scratching my head, if it was purely fiction or if God was offering a peephole into the actual past. It will be interesting to see the kinds of conversations that sprout up around this, but I simply wrote as I was inspired and aimed to be a faithful scribe of God's breath, a loyal chronicler of the images and wording in many cases that the Holy Spirit streamed across my soul with crystal fluidity and sparks of river floating fire. The Garden of Freedom, available on Amazon. Music by Jason Gittins of Resonant Media. This music was originally conceptualized for T&T and Poetry, a Rainbow Collection, which is an ebook and also paperback on Amazon. Art and photography by yours truly, Nanika Edwards. Some of the artwork in this video is also available in the ebook. Video production by yours truly, Nanika Edwards. I hope you enjoyed and thank you for viewing.